Traffic on Interstate 20 in North Louisiana is moving again after days of winter weather left hundreds of drivers stranded in freezing conditions, according to Louisiana State Police. Trooper Ryan Davis with Louisiana State Police said Tuesday that I-20 is now flowing after crews worked through a massive backlog of stalled vehicles caused by ice, black ice, and disabled 18-wheelers. The update comes after drivers reported being stuck for hours, and in some cases days, along long stretches of I-20 between Minden, Lincoln Parish, and the Monroe-West Monroe area. As traffic slowly resumed, acts of kindness also emerged along the interstate. Greg Terrell, a Lincoln Parish resident who lives near an I-20 exit, said he personally delivered meals and gas to stranded motorists during the standstill. Terrell said his experience as a professional driver compelled him to help. Earlier Tuesday, state officials said the traffic jam began near Minden and stretched eastward as additional vehicles continued entering the interstate faster than crews could clear stalled trucks. Louisiana State Police said some drivers were forced to stop and sleep in their vehicles, prompting troopers to go cab to wake drivers and restart traffic flow. During a briefing in Ouachita Parish, Governor Jeff Landry said eastbound traffic on I-20 was flowing again, while westbound lanes were gradually clearing as crews removed disabled vehicles. The Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development said crews from Central and South Louisiana were deployed overnight, using motor graders, salt trucks, and brine trucks to clear ice and assist stranded motorists. Heavy-duty wreckers, escorted by state police and assisted by the Louisiana National Guard, were brought in to remove stalled 18-wheelers blocking the roadway. Despite progress, officials warned that conditions remain dangerous. Trooper Davis said lingering ice, especially black ice that forms when roads thaw during the day and refreeze overnight, remains a serious threat. Melting ice has also saturated the ground, increasing the risk of falling trees and limbs that can block roadways without warning. State police and DOTD continue urging motorists to avoid unnecessary travel. While above freezing temperatures helped melt ice Tuesday, officials warned that dropping temperatures overnight could cause refreezing. Landry said Louisiana has recorded at least one roadway fatality during the winter weather event, involving an unrestrained driver in DeSoto Parish. He emphasized the importance of wearing seatbelts and driving cautiously. Drivers who must travel are urged to slow down, increase following distance, avoid cruise control, and never drive around barricades. Officials said road conditions can change rapidly, even on reopened highways. DOTD crews are continuing 24-hour operations to clear ice, remove disabled vehicles, and reopen roadways as conditions allow. Motorists are encouraged to check road conditions through 511la.org before traveling. Traffic was backed up for miles on a Louisiana stretch of Interstate 20 for several days this week because of crashes, snow, and ice along the freeway, according to state officials. Vehicles sat mostly motionless after jackknifing 18-wheelers started to block cars and trucks Saturday night, and the traffic jam continued through Tuesday evening, according to Louisiana State Police. Before the freeway reopened Wednesday, drivers and passengers had left their vehicles empty on the interstate to seek shelter in warming centers and find food, Trooper Eddie Thomas told the Chronicle. "A lot of those cars can't move," he said. "They're stuck. A lot of these cars are pinned between two 18-wheelers, and they have no way to move." Authorities were working to clear the jackknifed 18-wheelers off the roadway, and the state's National Guard responded with heavy equipment, according to state officials. The interstate froze again overnight and created additional problems as more vehicles lost control, Thomas said. At least 42 deaths have been attributed to the storm nationwide, according to the Associated Press. In Fannin County, Texas, north of Dallas, 3 brothers died after falling into an icy pond, officials said. In Frisco, Texas, near Dallas, a 16-year-old girl died from a sledding accident, according to Frisco police. The victim and another girl were being pulled on a sled by a teenage boy driving a car when the sled struck a curb and then hit a tree, police said. In the Austin area, a victim was found dead in the parking lot of an abandoned gas station from apparent hypothermia, officials said. In Arkansas, a 17-year-old boy died after he was pulled by an ATV in the snow and struck a tree, according to the Saline County Sheriff's Office. In Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, 3 people died while removing snow, the county coroner said. The victims ranged in age from 60 to 84, the coroner said, adding, "I remind the public to use caution when shovel snow, especially individuals with a history of heart disease or other medical concerns." 8 people died in New York City, and a retired police officer died on Long Island while shoveling snow, according to New York ABC station WABC. Another man was found dead with a shovel in his hand in Verona, New Jersey, according to local police. In Massachusetts, a woman died after a snowplow backed into her in a parking lot, local officials said. Deaths were also reported in Tennessee, Louisiana, Mississippi, Kansas, Ohio, and South Carolina, according to officials. In Nashville, Tennessee, the Monroe Carell Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt has treated 46 children for carbon monoxide exposure since Sunday, hospital officials said. The cases come as many families try to heat their homes during power outages caused by downed power lines and fallen trees. Carbon monoxide is an odorless gas, and carbon monoxide poisoning can be fatal. Symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning include dizziness, headaches, nausea, and confusion. To avoid carbon monoxide poisoning, never use generators or grills near open windows or vents, and make sure your battery-powered carbon monoxide detectors are working. American Airlines said this was the most disruptive storm in the airline's 100-year history. American has canceled more than 9,000 flights and expects impacts to be felt for 2 more days. American said 25% of its Tuesday flights are canceled. Across the U.S., more than 2,000 flights are canceled on Tuesday, with Dallas, Boston, and New York hit the hardest. Over 11,000 flights were canceled on Sunday, marking the highest day for cancellations since the pandemic, according to Cirium data. More than 500,000 customers are still without power, with the worst outages in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Louisiana. A large interstate sign fell on a semi-truck during a winter storm in Tennessee. The Tennessee Department of Transportation had to remove the road sign from Interstate 65 after it fell Monday morning. Officials said a semi-truck jackknifed and crashed into the sign, causing it to fall on the trailer. The crash closed I-65 at the I-440 split for several hours, but crews were able to remove the sign from the interstate and put it a safe distance behind the guardrail. Officials said it will take some time to replace the sign. The Mississippi Department of Public Safety said that on Thursday, the Mississippi Highway Patrol and Commercial Transportation Enforcement Division will be diverting traffic from I-55 northbound exit 243 at Batesville to the Tennessee state line, and from Interstate 22 westbound exit 21 at Red Banks to the Tennessee state line. The department said that eastbound traffic on Interstate 22 and on Highway 78 will be closed at Exit 1 at Craft Road. They said on Thursday, at 8 a.m., the right lane of the northbound side of Interstate 55 will be open for travel. The Mississippi Highway Patrol, MHP, asked drivers to steer clear of Interstate 55 northbound and Interstate 22 westbound, so National Guard members can make way to help clear icy roads on Wednesday afternoon. MHP said they will stop traffic traveling northbound on I-55 at Grenada, and those traveling westbound on I-22 in Marshall County. I-55 will be closed near Batesville, and barriers are also being put up along I-22 between State Line and Red Banks. MHP. Colonel Pitts said ICE is expected to stay throughout the day and is asking the public to stay off those interstates. According to MHP, they are asking drivers to travel eastbound on I-22 and southbound on I-55 instead. Commissioner Sean Tindell of the Mississippi Department of Public Safety said that the state is bringing the National Guard and the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, MEMA, to help clear road conditions. On Wednesday, Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves deployed over 100 snowplows to help clear icy roads. MEMA said on Thursday, the Mississippi Department of Transportation, MDOT, will be focused on opening all lanes of I-55 and I-22. According to MEMA, drivers should remain off any open interstate in northern Mississippi unless it is an emergency. The Department of Safety said it was imperative to get cars off the road, and Wednesday night WREG was told that it's mostly truck drivers who are still trying to make their way through the slick spots. If anybody chooses to get on the interstate after going around barricades or anything like that, I want you to know you're doing that at your own risk. You've got to assume liability. If you get stuck there, people might not be able to help you. The Department of Safety said it was imperative to get cars off the road, and Wednesday night WREG was told that it's mostly truck drivers who are still trying to make their way through the slick spots. If anybody chooses to get on the interstate after going around barricades or anything like that, I want you to know you're doing that at your own risk. You've got to assume liability. If you get stuck there, people might not be able to help you. First responders might not be able to help you. Do not go around those barricades once they are established, said Tyndall. A WREG crew member saw a National Guard convoy in Tate County on Interstate 55. This comes after Governor Tate Reeves said Wednesday morning that emergency crews worked through the night to help stranded passengers and commercial drivers and clear the interstates.
Back and forth.
Crews from the Department of Transportation, the Emergency Management Agency, and the National Guard were coordinating a response. The problems began when some truckers abandoned their vehicles after losing traction on icy roads. White said one truck was left blocking traffic when the driver got out to check something on the vehicle and couldn't regain traction when returning. MDOT had treated the roads, but extended periods of below freezing temperatures reduced the effectiveness of those efforts. You cannot plow ice. The best remedy for ice is sunshine and above freezing temperatures, White said. Transportation crews are using motor graders to break up ice as it melts and create more room for equipment to operate. White said MDOT has kept one lane of every interstate and four-lane highway passable for emergency vehicles, but emphasized that doesn't mean the roads are safe for regular drivers. I don't know how to make it any clearer that we need people to stay off the roads if at all necessary, White said. State troopers worked through the early morning hours to help stranded motorists and prevent more vehicles from becoming stuck. Officials tried to separate commercial and personal vehicles to allow cars to turn around. Electrical service is slowly returning in regions of North Mississippi and the Delta after this past weekend's ice storm, even as brutally cold temperatures linger in many places. State and local officials stressed Wednesday that major obstacles remain for restoring power, clearing roads, and providing water. Governor Tate Reeves said Wednesday that storm also has resulted at least 10 deaths. The Mississippi Emergency Management Agency reported a fatality each in Jefferson and Lincoln counties related to the use of gas space heaters, and another in Alcorn County along the border with Tennessee, connected to the use of a gas oven in an attempt to stay warm. 5 fire deaths in the aftermath of the storm are under investigation. Because many roads are still impassable, responding to some of these fire scenes has been slow, State Fire Marshal and Insurance Commissioner Mike Cheney said. In some areas, fire departments are unable to respond at all. What we're seeing, and have seen historically, is improper heating issues like getting space heaters too close to bedding or using outdoor heating equipment indoors. I cannot overstate the importance of safely using heating equipment and having a working smoke alarm and carbon monoxide alarm. I pray we don't see more loss of life as extreme cold is predicted to continue for several days. President Donald Trump on Saturday approved an emergency declaration for Mississippi for this winter storm. State and local officials are assessing damage, which is one step toward Reeves declaring a disaster and asking the Federal Emergency Management Agency for aid, the governor said Wednesday. Reeves said assessing damage takes longer after an ice storm than after a tornado, partly because of widespread power outages. TIPA Electric Power Association, which serves areas along the border with Tennessee and North Mississippi, announced it would begin restoring power by prioritizing medical facilities and nursing homes, water distribution systems, grocery stores, and gas stations.
We're going to need some help.
Then, our focus will be restoring the largest number of customers the quickest. Tipa Power Association's service area was hit especially hard because of damage to the distribution lines from Tennessee Valley Authority, which provides electricity for the Rural Power Association. State officials said Wednesday that Mississippi has received 60 generators from the Federal Emergency Management Agency and has used 35 so far, including one at a nursing center in Tipa County. Power was restored at a hospital in Tipa County. In Lafayette County in north-central Mississippi, the lights were slowly coming back on, but Oxford Mayor Robyn Tannehill said the city's water system experienced problems. Tannehill said Wednesday, while 10 of the city's 16 main power circuits were back online, news around the water system was less encouraging. Crews were working to identify a possible water leak in the south part of town to determine if additional steps are needed to stabilize the system. Tannehill said water would remain turned off in certain areas to ensure enough pressure remains so Baptist Memorial Hospital North Mississippi can have adequate access to water. Tannehill also said National Guard troops were arriving in Oxford Wednesday and would begin setting up food and water distribution sites. According to PowerOutage.us, the number of electrical outages in Mississippi had dropped from about 125,000 customers late Tuesday to about 105,000 by Wednesday evening. The peak was about 180,000 during the weekend. Mississippi on Wednesday still had the highest percentage of outages, about 7%, of all the states that were pummeled by the massive winter storm. Meanwhile, 2 Cincinnati residents were killed in an Indiana crash on snowy, icy roads, according to the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. It happened as a vehicle tried to pass a semi in the 9600 block North State Road, one around 8:15 p.m. Monday, sheriff's officials said in a news release. Another semi struck the vehicle head-on. 2 passengers in the vehicle, Andrea Boatwright and Brandon Shaw, both 32, were pronounced dead at the scene, the release states. Wayne County is located about 70 miles northwest of downtown Cincinnati. The county saw 9 to 12 inches of snow from last weekend's winter storm, according to the National Weather Service. The crash remains under investigation, according to the sheriff's office. 2 16-year-old girls have died after the sled they were riding, which was being towed by a Jeep, struck a tree on Sunday afternoon. Angle died shortly after the accident on Sunday. The Brito family confirmed Wednesday that Gracie has also passed away, and they are currently at the hospital honoring her final wish to be an organ donor. According to Frisco police, a 16-year-old boy was driving a Jeep pulling the 2 girls on a sled near Majestic Gardens Drive and Killian Court. Witnesses told investigators the sled hit a curb, causing it to collide with a tree. When officers arrived, they found both girls in critical condition. Police performed life-saving measures before the teens were transported to a local hospital, where both later died. These sweet besties are together forever, Elizabeth's mother, Megan Angle, posted on Facebook. I find some comfort knowing they are in heaven together. They were holding on to each other on the sled. Our hearts go out to the Brito family. We are forever connected. In a statement to Fox 4, the Brito family described Gracie as a generous soul who consistently put others before herself. She was a kind and generous soul, full of warmth, love, and compassion, the family said. Even at such a young age, she showed a selflessness beyond her years. She was thrilled to get her driver's license and become an organ donor. She wanted to help anyone in need. That was Grace. Gracie was a dedicated all-star athlete at Express Cheer, where her family says she approached the sport with discipline, dedication, and joy. The bond she shared with her teammates, coaches, and her cheer family was one of trust, love, and support, the statement continued. The days since Sunday have been unimaginably difficult. We are taking things moment by moment and leaning on our faith, on one another, and on the overwhelming love and support from our family, friends, and community. Elizabeth was a sophomore at Wakeland High School, where she played soccer. Her parents described her as a kind-spirited teenager who loved her friends and her community. If there is anything learned from this situation, it's go out and have fun. Be safe, though, said Brian Engel, Elizabeth's father. Her mother, Megan Engel, warned other parents about how quickly a fun afternoon can turn into a tragedy. I know kids think they are invincible. It was literally an instant, she said. We are just regular people. You hear these stories and think, oh, that will never happen to me. And it did. Wakeland High School officials announced they will honor Engel during second period once classes resume. The school will also provide grief counselors for students and staff. Frisco police urged residents to remain cautious during the ongoing winter weather. Snow and ice can create extremely slippery surfaces and lead to serious or even deadly accidents, the department said in a statement. Please stay alert, stay indoors when possible, and avoid any unnecessary outdoor activity.
This is Exxon Station in Ruston, Louisiana, 2026. You see we right here by Walmart and the old Rite Aid. They turn it into the plasma center.